So we are going to start. What we're going to do, so we're not here all night, is I'm pulling one card for each month of 2026. And here's my hope that it is not like what happened in 2019 when I did a New Year's Eve reading with some friends, or a solstice reading, and all of us kept having our readings loop back around to 2019. It was weird. So let's take a look here. And let's see what we've got coming. So for those of you that already have a drinking game planned around this, now's your time. And I was going to we found this weird dragon drink that's definitely more like a fizzy soda / sensory thing with little lights on the bottle. It is the weirdest thing. And I thought about having it out, but I realized that no, I'm me. I just got back from my herbalism class and I risk spilling stuff on my cards. So if anyone here is unfamiliar with me, I generally use Tarot of the Spirit for my community readings. I really like this one. It is one of the better learner decks, in my opinion, if you're not just going to go with good old Coleman Smith. So January 2026, what is our card for the month? And I do read inversions. Birth of Light. So tuning into this one, this would be in a traditional tarot deck, the Three of Wands. So this can look like somebody looking over options, but I think this is more, again, people are going to have some answers, and it will have had time over the holidays to really look at, okay, here's how things have really turned out. So here's how things need to turn out from here. So there's that part. So hi, welcome. I just did the card for January of 2026. And yes, this recording will be posted. I do my Substack tarot post where I post the live with a transcript, and then I add notes for each tarot card for people that are learning, that want to incorporate perspectives into their practice. Also, so people recognize that you can have a sense of humor about the perspectives you take on tarot, and sometimes that helps you survive it. So Birth of Light, Three of Wands. So this one is a lot of fire energy. It's still on the lower end of the firepower scale. But it does mean that people are going to be coming to some final decisions and more things are going to come out. And again, if you're trying to make a bingo card, it needs to be based in non-Euclidean geometry because nothing else is going to work in this world anymore. So the next one for February of 2026. And I wanted this, looking at the condition of this card, and it looks like it's time to order another copy of Tarot of the Spirit because I just keep burning through these. Brother Fire. So this would be equivalent to the Knight of Wands. So that's a lot more fire energy. That means that things are going to be combative, but it's not going to be war combative. It's going to be social and ideological war. Again, you can hear the American accent. I'm doing this with a U.S. bias. Elsewhere, it may be another story. But this does mean that a younger persona is going to emerge and is going to look like potential leadership. If it's anything related to the reading I just did this week, beware of false prophets. That's the feeling I got out of that, is don't hook your hope on that person too much. Don't put your eggs in one basket, and really listen to what this person is saying, but try to listen for what they're not saying to you, because that in the current circumstances is what really matters. So for March of 2026, this is the first inversion I pulled for 2026, and Five of Water spilling, but it is inverted. This is going to be a rough time. So March is going to be rough. A lot of resources will just be gone. And we can't just build our resources. This is the American way of life is being forced to change in a pretty harsh way. And this means that what resources that you can manage now are going to make a difference by spring. Something that I started experimenting with last year that I'm starting to get into this year because I have the space to do it. And if you don't, there are other ways, but it's very hard to produce enough food for even a family of 4 with a small amount of land, even with some of the Squarespace stuff. And if you live in an apartment, it is really hard to do. But I am experimenting with winter sowing. So that is a way where you start plants in winter so they are ready to go by spring. And sometimes you can get mini winter crops along the way as you do it, because you're basically using milk jugs as a sort of greenhouse. So milk jugs, leftover Chinese containers, basically that reuse, repurpose, recycle. If you're able to do that, this would be a good season to do that in if you are able to. And always, always, always plan to share the extra with your neighbors. But March 2026, that is the Five of Cups inverted. And in this case, I am reading and feeling it as a running out of flow, the riverbed's running dry, things just being kind of extra tough. So coming into April of 2026, and Father Fire inverted. And I know a lot of people would like the words I'm hearing is lights out. Somebody's lights are going to go out. And I know that there's a lot of people wishing for specific people, but we can't really pin things down like that. The death roster just doesn't work that way. And the more you wish for someone's death, it's almost like keeping them alive. So finding a way to gray rock a public figure may be everyone's best bet for mental health. But I am seeing this as somebody will be departing from the global community. They will be departing from a scene. That doesn't necessarily mean death, but it does mean that somebody's going to hit burnout hard enough that they need to recuse themselves. So that's what I have for April. Okay, so moving into May. So we are getting into, and again, I'm on a Midwestern bias. We're moving into early spring. We're seeing the Lovers inverted. So this is going to be seeing, I'm hearing the word separation of powers. Now, for people that spent a lot of time studying the Constitution, this looks like a bad card, but this could be a good thing. Because that is the phrase that I heard with separation of powers, which means May of 2026, we're going to see some action taken that has been deferred and deferred and deferred, where things have been enmeshed that should never have been enmeshed. So there's going to be a sort of breakup happening, and it's going to be a very good thing. So that's the next one for May. And I'm taking this out because I'm going to bed after this because it's been a long day for me. So I'm going to take a picture and come back and do the post tomorrow. So, because I know it's going to take me a while. So you'll be getting a Halloween treat for me this year. Yay, happy Halloween! Or Samhain, or Tsiari, or Kekri, or whatever else you happen to be observing, Dia de los Muertos, and so on. So coming into June, June's going to be weird. We've got 10 of Wands. So 10 of Wands is the cage in the Tarot of the Spirits. It does kind of look like a cage in the Coleman Smith. And this can either mean, often this comes up when someone goes to prison. And again, don't project you. That never works out the way you want. But it means that there's going to be consequence containment. And again, after that breakup, after that separation of powers, that means that there's going to be a fairly heavy consequence of somebody being taken off the playing field and contained, and they're not going to be allowed out for quite a while. Now, this is not the same as 10 of Swords, where it's stick a fork in me, I'm done. This person could still ostensibly set fire to the wood cage, but there's at least, this burning my fingers a little. There's at least some consequence that finally happens. So I will also remind people, fire is one of my favorite things. It is not always the best solution. So we are not Jason in the Good Place where we throw a Molotov cocktail just to have a whole new problem. We don't do this here. That doesn't work well. So coming up from June into July, the next one, again, 2026 is going to be weird. I'm sorry. 7 of Fire inverted. So this would be the Courage inverted card. People are just going to be nervous because it's going to be what the hell does all of this mean? And the last few years that I can remember, July has always been a bizarrely liminal month of, I don't know what to do with myself. And if you're fortunate, you could go, I guess I'm going to go swimming. But the rest of the time, if you're paying attention to anything, it's just a sense of vague, ephemeral confusion. So moving from there, again, Carrie's so much fire energy, right? There's a lot of fire energy next year. I think that, again, things in the US are culturally designed to move very slow and frustrating and be somewhat non-responsive to keep structures in place because something stability for the people we like is good. And we really are getting to the point where people are just ready to burn the whole scene down. So coming up to August, and this is interesting, it's the Tower inverted. And the first thing that's popping into my mind, because I do a lot of stream of consciousness when I do these type of tarot readings, was Bay of Pigs invasion. Now, there's a lot of people, like, this was before my time, and a lot of the internet's kind of not connecting why history is important anymore. So, but it's very important when you're a tarot reader, so you have a frame of reference when you're looking between the past and the future. So, what I am seeing with the Tower inverted is going to be similar to Bay of Pigs, where we almost ended up in a nuclear war with Cuba. So, whatever's going on, it's going to come way too close to the stuff hitting the fan. And, but the end of the month, I'm seeing a bunch of people breathing a sigh of relief, but it's going to be looking, going, is it going to fall? Is it going to fall? Is it going to fall on me? And also, if you're in California, what the hell is that going to do to your insurance? So coming up from August into September. And September, we've got another player that is getting moved off the playing field. And I just heard a voice behind me say, it's happening to Joe Rogan, right? Like, I don't think this is a Joe Rogan card. Everyone knows I hate this guy because he's terrible. But Brother Wind inverted, it's almost like there's going to be someone younger who's had a lot of attention, who's being seen as a voice of a leadership, who is going to get an STFU from the universe. Like, I am seeing this blah, blah, blah energy just being like shut down like smack. Like, everything that supports this person just gone. And whatever this does for the community, it's going to create a structural imbalance. And it's going to create a narrative imbalance. So as soon as this happens, people need to have better and healthier stories and narratives to run. So one of the things that worked for Obama with his campaign was the Yes, We Can. So it is the yes, we can heal this, or specifics about healing everything that has damaged culture, everything that has made culture toxic. But it is not possible for any one person to take on all of the problems. You need to pick the one problem that speaks to you and create a healthier narrative, create affirmations, create a, hey, since this is out of the way, let's try this now. It could be taking inspiration from the Ugly Indian website and going, okay, I'm going to buy the stuff to patch the roads myself. It's going to take small acts that don't seem like much by themselves, but collectively are extremely radical. So coming up from September into October next year, Sister Earth. So this would typically be a page in a Coleman Smith deck. So it's someone who's newer, who possibly served as a page in Congress, and definitely femme energy, grounded energy, financial understanding. I'm not going to say the name, but I know we're thinking of the popular initials. But there's going to be a spotlight on this person, and it is definitely going to be political, and it's going to be different from the last few times the spotlight has been on women politicians. I don't know how it feels healthy, but it also feels almost like she's the psychopomp who's having the job of going, I regret to inform you you're dead. And that means you no longer get to complain. No, you're dead. Stop complaining. Like, this is the feeling I get, especially with it falling in October, with the earth energy, that grounding, and also a little bit of the, no, sir, you're underground. You don't get to say anymore. So that's really what I'm getting from this. Now, coming to November of next year, I am getting the next one is Sister Wind. So there is a chance that this Mother Earth, this Sister Earth, this younger Earth, is going to get some opposition. So, but that means that the way the opposition is going to work is masculine energy will have sufficiently be decentered. Feminine energy will be there, but that does not mean liberalism and conservatism are going away. It means that the style of argument is going to change. Whether that's healthy or not, I do not know. Once upon a time, I knew some very sane and cogent conservatives. I believe they're still out there. I just don't see them online anywhere. So now for December of 2026, what's the last card? And that's a year out. So again, it's sort of like a weather forecast. The further out it gets, the more likely it's going to change. But so December of 2026 is 9 of wind. So that would be that would be just short of the stick a fork in me, I'm done card. So this would be usually an individual, but this is going to mean a release of secrets. So on my deck, it's called the Screen. It's inverted for 2026 in December. Secrets are going to come out. More information is going to come out. Uh, there's going to be files with redactions that are unredacted. And it's going to be it's going to get more energy than when they tried to distract us last year with, oh no, aliens have been here, and everyone's like, yeah, food's too expensive. Do they have a better option? And just nobody cared that the little green men were really here. This one's going to get a little bit more of a reaction, but it's kind of a medium. Again, these releases are expected to get big responses, and it's going to come back to, have you seen what we've been through? Really? Really? You want us to be worried about this? We already figured that out. Really? So, like, whoever releases this information, it's not going to go how they want. So that is what I have for 2026. Are there any questions or clarifications? And again, thank you so much for spending the time with me. It means a lot that you would take the time out of your evening to hang out with me where I am chatting about my tarot cards, which is one of my favorite things to do. But I know that it can't be an acquired taste. So again, thank you so much for spending the time. Also, now that I've got this, I am probably going to be spending a little time meditating on it and going, okay, with each card, great. That's lovely information. Now, what can I personally do with it? How can I make it do something useful and effective in my life, especially if it's technically a bad news card? So that is this is also kind of going to be what guides me through Substack in 2026 and also my Patreon. So I do one-on-one readings via Zoom. Usually I can do in person if you're in Kalamazoo area. But I also have a Patreon, and the memberships that are $15 and above per month also include a monthly reading with me. So if that is something that you're interested in doing, the support helps me keep doing this for a living instead of something boring and normal. And it also helps me bring my particular style of spiritual and occult, but relatively non-religion support to my communities. So that's what I've got for you. And if there's any other questions, now's the time. So I'll just wait a moment to give folks a chance to finish off the drinking game and let me know. And then from there, I will wish you happy Halloween and we can move on. Okay, so that was awkward. Thank you so much for spending the time with me. Happy Halloween. And if you do not subscribe to the Spirited Witch Substack, there are paid subscriptions, but the free stuff is pretty juicy still. So stay magical, have a lovely night, and I will see you on the other side of the Days of the Dead.